a resource person, my own teacher and mentor, Dr. Bindu ma'am from the Department of Education. And today's topic is employability skills, and it's highly significant and it's the need of the hour. People should be conscientized on employability skills. And warm welcome everyone. You can do a great noble act by sharing the poster and link to your friends and colleagues so that many can benefit from today's invited talk. And warm welcome everyone on behalf of our principal, Dr. K.Y. Benedict, and the Marthaplus Training College family and the research scholars. We would like to welcome you. And this is organized by the research scholars of Marthaplus Training College. And warm welcome everyone. I happen to be the research coordinator. Welcome everyone. Over to you, research scholars, please.
Sir, am I audible?
Perfect.
Thank you, sir. A very warm good evening to one and all. Respected Principal Dr. K.Y. Benedict, sir. Distinguished guest for today's talk, Dr. Bindu. Research Coordinator, Dr. Jojo John, sir. Honorable dignitaries, teachers, mentors, and dear participants. I, Sindhu Sara, research scholar on behalf of Marthaplus Training College, welcome you all for yet another session of our program Insight in Depth. Today we are proudly presenting our 42nd session, and we are truly honored by the presence of all the participants. Marthaplus Training College, one of the premier teacher training institutes in Kerala, is moving forward with renewed vigor and vitality, holding aloft its mission and vision. The college has always been a source of inspiration and has organized many programs, seminars, and meetings at the state and national level. Insight in Depth is one such initiative. Let us begin today's program seeking the blessings of Almighty with a word of prayer. Now I invite Akanksha Prajapati for the welcome speech.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah, ma'am. Good evening to everyone present here. A warm welcome to all of you to the 42nd Insight In-Depth Invited Talk, organized by the Research Wing of Marthaplus Training College. With a thankful heart, I am overwhelmed to welcome Dr. K.Y. Benedict, sir, Principal Marthaplus Training College, whose support and guidance helps the Research Wing immensely. Hearty welcome to you, sir, to this webinar. Next, I would like to welcome our resource person, Dr. Bindu TV, ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, University of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. Today, ma'am is going to present her views on a very relevant topic, that is employability skills. We are really grateful to have you here for this session. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, on the behalf of everyone present on this virtual gathering. Next, I would like to welcome our research coordinator, Dr. Joju Johnson, a person with positive energy. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir, for this session. Finally, I extend my hearty welcome to all the research guides, professors, teachers, research scholars, and students from all over the nation who have joined us today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Akanksha, for that welcome address. The purpose of today's gathering is to enlighten our knowledge about employability skills. Today, we have an eminent personality with us to share her words of wisdom on this subject. I invite Anuja to introduce the guest of honor.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, Anuja.
Good evening, everyone. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce our guest for the 42nd Insight In-Depth Talk series organized by Mark Theophilus Training College Research Wing. Our topic for today is employability skills, and our resource person is a very eminent person, Dr. Bindu TV Madam, Faculty of Department of Education, University of Kerala. She is a knowledgeable person with 10% commitment to the field of education and educational research. She is an exceptional resource person and has produced 15 PhDs and guided 2 MPhil theses and 6 MT theses. Dr. Bindu TV Madam is an expert in research methodology, a highly committed teacher, and a very passionate person in teaching profession. She has contributed a lot in teacher training in Government College of Teacher Education, Thaikadu. The PhD thesis and MT thesis guided by Bindu TV Madam are model for the research students. She has completed her B.Ed, M.Ed graduation and post-graduation in flying colors and has got an exceptional academic records. She has been very benevolent in helping research students and postgraduate students in their research activities. We are very fortunate to have such a great resource person in our Insight In-Depth Talk series. Thank you so much for being with us, Madam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Anuja. Before we get started, let me humbly present a few announcements. Kindly mute your microphones. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box. We will bring them up during the discussion at the end. E-certificate for participation will be issued, so kindly mark your attendance and share your thoughts and experiences through the Google platform. Now, I humbly request Dr. Bindu to share her views with us. Ma'am, the platform is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice words. I don't know whether my presentation is having some insight or in-depth. I am trying my level best to express the views with respect to the concept of employability. Thank you for the organizers for giving me an opportunity to present my views in such a great platform where so many professors, PhD holders, and research students and other faculty members and students are there. I am very happy to be with you for the next 1 hour in order to share my ideas. And I don't know whether my ideas are complete or not. That is why I said whether it is insight or in-depth. I am sharing the knowledge that I gained during the last 1 or 2 weeks after Dr. Benedict sir contacted me to have a session in the series of this talk series in a particular day. And only 4 days back, I have confirmed the day. and I have prepared for the presentation. I selected this topic because I have gone through the brochures presented by different personalities in this platform, and whatever be the topic which is convenient for me has already been discussed by many personalities. So I decided to take a new topic, and I have prepared it for the first time. So I am not here itself, I am declaring that I am not an expert in the field of expressing or explaining the employability skills. So I am trying to learn something during the preparation for this presentation, and also when you are raising some queries about this topic, some of them may not be answered by me, but it will lead to learn more about this particular skill. That is the motive behind this presentation. Yes, I think please mute your mics and listen the talk. Don't concentrate on the PPTs. PPT is only for the convenience of keeping my face away from you. I am presenting the PPTs. So even after presenting a set of PPTs, I myself will conclude it for you as we are doing in the classroom platform. So please listen. Shall I share the my screen, Jojo?
Please, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please.
Hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect. Perfect.
See, whenever we are thinking about education, we are thinking about a job, or we are thinking about an occasion, or we are thinking about a profession. First of all, we should think about how the employers, different universities or professional bodies are asking about or requesting about a group of persons who are most suitable for the particular firm. Any university in the world is giving some graduation or post-graduation or some professional course degrees to many of the students. But we know after getting that graduation or post-graduation or professional courses, the employers are giving special training to these graduate students or postgraduate holders, or even for PDF holders. They are giving some training to deal something in their firm. This shows the inability or the lacunae of giving some skills during their degree courses or post-graduation courses by the university. Therefore, the curriculum of each and every university in the world is to be relooked in order to give sufficient skills needed for the 21st century. Any industry or any business people or any firm is looking into people who are having certain required skills which are most suitable for that particular firm. In that context, we need to give the students whatever be the abilities required by any of the firms, because we know in the 21st century, even though we are professionalizing in a particular field, for example, suppose we are getting a graduation in education or post-graduation in education or PhD in education, after that, all the degree holders in a particular field or discipline is not going to a particular field which is aligned to the discipline, where we sometimes we may changing our path of job from the field of education to another field, suppose into a clerical field or into a bank field or into a secretariat assistant field or any field to which, because we know the highly educated unemployed people are there in Kerala. So we will receive any job which is there in our market. So we need to have a special type of skills in every course so that a person who is after getting a particular degree or post-graduation degree can choose any of the job opportunity from the global scenario. So first we need to discuss about what is happening in the field of education. Education means when an individual person is interacting with the environment. See, here in this picture, E represents the environment and the yellow circle represents the brain of an individual. Any brain of an individual will be consisted of three domains that are cognitive domain, which is represented by C, affective domain, which is represented by A, and psychomotor domain, which is represented by P. Before education, what is education? It is the interaction between the brain and the environment. Before interaction, that is before education, something will be there in the cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain. When it is interacting with the environment, some change will take place in any one of these three domains, or two of these three domains, or in all the three domains. Mostly all the three domains will be changed due to the interaction with the environment. This change taking place in the brain of an individual when it interacts with the environment is called an education. That is, this education is the interaction between these two. Then what should be the environment? In formal education system, the system or the institution or the teacher or the university, whatever be the system we call, that system is providing some environment, formally some environment to this brain to interact with. Because of that interaction, some changes will be taking place. But in the non-formal and informal situations also, there is interaction between these two parts of the system, that is brain and the environment. There also some changes will take place in the brain, that is education. Therefore, whenever we try to educate somebody, we need to change their cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains in their brain by any means. Then this change is as we required. When the change is taking place according to the requirement, we call it as outcome based. Here, in the context of a profession or job or vocation, the requirement is or the requirements are some of the required skills for that particular profession. So during the education process, we need to change the brain according to the requirement of the employers. That is the way by which we can change our education. If we are analyzing the curriculum of different courses, we could understand that the syllabus is not for developing certain abilities which are required by the different employers, but it is for getting a degree in a particular discipline. Now, many of the universities has changed their program in such a way that some vocational skills are also to be developed among students during their courses. Even from the lower level of education, that is from secondary or primary level itself, some changes in curriculum should be there in order to achieve this goal of making students able to approach any employer to have a good job. Then that is the purpose of education. Then we should think about, when we are thinking about an employment, we should understand the difference between job, vocation, and profession. First, we can think about a job. See, job means something we are doing. When we are requested to do something, we are doing something. And we are receiving some reward for that particular work that we are committing. For example, when we are calling a Bengali to do some work in our house, we are paying some money back to that particular person at the eve. It is a job. Today, sometimes he may be cleaning our house. And tomorrow, if the same Bengali is called for some job, I may be giving another work, maybe painting or varnishing, something like that. Then see, in both the contexts, the Bengali is doing that particular job without having any prior knowledge or skill or education about the process to be carried out during the process of doing that work. So job is something that one has to do to survive. No need of education, no need of skill acquisition, but they are doing some job. See, when a person who is not known anything about plumbing can do the process of that work if we are requesting him to do that. Some boys are having such a talent to do such jobs. But when such a job is carried out by that particular person for a period of time, that may become vocation for that particular person. So what is vocation? Vocation is some training is already received by that particular person, either in a formal way or in an informal or non-formal way, through which he or she can perform the task very well. There are some skills are there, and that skills are perfectly carried out by the person, and he or she will continue in that particular occasion as he or she is known as the expert in that particular field. Therefore, not like job, vocation is needing some, vocation needs some training and some knowledge about the process to be carried out. That is, awareness and knowledge along with skill is there in the case of vocation. When we move on to the profession, we need more than that. See, profession is a person should have a knowledge which is gained through a process of education and knowledge or awareness about the process or about the content. In the case of a teacher, let us discuss what is the knowledge there. It is the knowledge about the subject. That knowledge is expected to be converted into a performance or skill. See, knowledge or awareness is to be converted into a skill or performance with an attitude or commitment. And this attitude or commitment is the important thing when we define profession, which is different from vocational job. Thus, we can distinguish job, vocation, and profession. And profession is the highest level of passion performance done by an individual through the acquisition of knowledge with maximum commitment or attitude. That is why some of the courses are called professional courses. If you are thinking about professional courses, say teaching or engineering or MBBS like that, there the person is expected to have a deep knowledge about the topic or about the performance to be carried out in their field. By knowing how to and what to and when to, they are performing. The knowledge acquired by them is converting into a performance. This performance should give enhancement in the field of education. That is, it should change the brain of another person if it is teaching. This process should be carried out with commitment. See, when we are comparing this with this process of education, the cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain are there. In the case of profession, by using this cognitive domain, a professional is acquiring some knowledge. And after getting that cognition or knowledge, they are converting it into a performance using their both psycho and motor. That is cognition as well as physical combination, physical ability combination. That is psychomotor domain through commitment or attitude, which is at the affective domain. Therefore, the overall involvement of the brain is required for performing in a professional manner. But the performance alone is required in the case of a job, and profession, psychomotor as well as cognitive, that is knowledge and performance together should be there in the case of vocation. I hope everybody could distinguish between job, vocation, and profession. Therefore, employers look for whom? Employers are always willing to receive a person who knows about the need of that firm, and by knowing the firm well, they are performing for the field or firm, and the performance should be in the committed fashion. Therefore, employers always looking for a person who is having knowledge, performance ability, and commitment. See, when a person knows something, that person need not have an ability to perform well. We know many of the student teachers are having in-depth knowledge about their content, but they are in many contexts they are failing to perform it in their classroom. That is the transaction. That is the skill, teaching skill they need to perform by using their knowledge. But if the person is having some commitment, see, this interaction shows that knowledge and commitment, if knowledge and commitment is there in a person or in a student teacher, you can make the student teacher acquire the performing skill through training. That is, a person having knowledge and commitment can be made into a professional by giving them training. See, if the person is having knowledge and performance skill to a high level, but if the person is not having commitment, even though we are giving perfect training to them and giving knowledge for their acquisition, but they cannot perform as a best teacher because they are not committed. See, if a person is having a very high teaching skill and having commitment to the students, and if they are not having knowledge, there is many modalities by which we can enhance the knowledge of the person. So only if a person is having a commitment, we can make them a professional. That is, knowledge and performance is not a must, but commitment is a must for a professional. Therefore, employers always look for a person who is having commitment, and if a person is committed to any system or any firm, they can acquire knowledge and they can train their performance to the maximum amount so that the employers can produce and they can enhance their productivity through the performance of a committed person by giving them knowledge about. That is the expectation of an employer. Then, in this context, see, what we have discussed till now is many of the firms are in requirement of highly skilled persons and highly committed person, highly knowledgeable persons for their best productivity. For best productivity, these employers are looking for persons who are having knowledge, performance, and commitment. In this context, we need to think about what all skills are to be acquired by a person in order to work in a firm by knowing what to do and how to do for that particular firm. Here comes the concept of employability skills. When we are discussing about employability skills, a person become employable. When will a person become employable? That we have discussed. A person will become employable only when that person know, perform, and commit. So employability skills can be defined as the skills that is required by a person to be employed in a firm. So we cannot say what are the employability skills to be achieved by a person, because depending upon the nature of the firm, the required skills are varying. Therefore, when employability skills is defined in a global way, the employability skills are many in number. Thousands of employability skills are there. And from the thousands of employability skills, the firm or the university should decide what are the employability skills to be given or trained their students or their employees. That is, when an employer is selecting an employee to give employability skills, they need to define what all employability skills are to be acquired by that particular person to enhance the productivity of that particular firm. Then some of the employability skills are there which are considered as universal employability skills. Universal employability skills means that skills are required by any firm. Some of the universal employability skills are described below. See, the most important employability skill is communication skill. Communication means when a person is trying to transact something to another person, or when two brains are interacting with each other. As we have discussed in the third slide, there is an interaction between a brain and environment. If the environment is a second brain, the first brain is trying to transmit something from that first brain to the second brain or to many brains. The process of transmitting something from one brain to another brain is known as communication. This transmission can be carried out either by using some verbal modes or by using some non-verbal modes or by a blend of these two. That is, communication skills are to be there in a human being when an employer is searching for that particular person as an employee in their firm. That is, communication skill, verbal and non-verbal. Then what are verbal abilities are to be there? When a person is interviewed by an employer, they are looking for the communication ability of that particular person. Then first, during communication, the first thing is to be noted is whether the particular person is having an ability to listen what I am saying. Whatever be the thing I am saying need to be listened. It is not a mere hearing, it is to be listened. Then listening means the thing or the words or the expressions which are entering into the brain of the employee need to be interpreted or understood by the person. How the employer can understand whether the person could listen or not? When we are listening to somebody, we can respond to that listened matter. That is, that response itself is showing that whether the particular person is having a listening ability. If there is a listening ability, the response will be logical, and the logical response will show the ability of the person to communicate something. That is, if a person can listen and reasonably or logically respond to the person, that person will have the ability to speak something to another person to make them understand. That is the importance. If I can understand what you are saying, I can give you some instructions. So that particular person will have the ability to instruct that subordinate, or they can listen their higher officials, and they can understand what the higher officials are saying, and they can make understand their subordinate something to make in their firm. Therefore, verbally, a person, when a brain is interacting with another brain, listening is more important. And if the person is having the ability to listen, that particular person will have the ability to communicate. Then, second is, the person need to write something in a comprehensive fashion. Comprehension means, after listening to a long speech, if I can summarize it in 3 or 4 sentences without losing the core of the speech, we can have, or we can say that particular person is having a comprehension ability. Comprehension ability is one of the important ability if a person need to communicate well. If a person need to communicate well, that person should have the ability to comprehend what they are listening. So the employer need to check whether that particular person is having some comprehension ability. See, then sometimes we may not be able to communicate orally or by using words. In such context, we need to show some facial expressions or some non-verbal expressions, or we need to draw something for others, make a table form for expressing something. Thus, there are so many ways of communication there with which we can communicate to others. So, an employer who is in need of a person with high communication ability need to check whether the particular person is able to listen, able to respond, able to comprehensively understand what the person has said, and whether they can express in form of non-verbal facial expressions, and whether he is able to draw a table or represent it in the form of a table, whether he is able to present in the form of a graph. That is depending upon the nature of the firm. Any of the combination of these communication skills are expected from the employee. So whenever an employer is searching for a person with this particular employability skill, that firm is interviewing or giving a competitive test for this particular person to check these communication abilities. See, in this 21st century, communication can also be done by using technological devices. Whether the particular person is having an ability to communicate through technological devices or multimedia is also important when we are thinking about communication skills. See, during education, we need to develop these skills among our children from the very beginning of their education. Then only after having a graduation or post-graduation or PhD course, the child will become, or the student will become, or the human being will become able to communicate well with the persons with whom they need to interact in the professional situations. Then see, next is teamwork skills. In any firm, a single person cannot do anything. What if that particular person is not having a team spirit along with the colleagues? So the second important employability skill is teamwork skills. Then what is teamwork skill? We know if I do have some ability and my colleague is having some other ability. Suppose I may be a person having with high creative and critical thinking, but I am not able to express it in proper words or sentences. Suppose my colleague who is very much able to write something, if I am giving the idea or innovative way of presentation to that particular colleague, and if both of us are working together, my idea can be easily disseminated to others by using the communication ability of the other person. Therefore, any firm can be performed best only if the teamwork is carrying out very effectively. As we know, in many of the institutions, especially in education institution, each and every person is having that much high skills and knowledge about many things. But putting the brain together is not taking place in many of the institutions. If the brains are putting together, we can create innovative ideas and we can get patents, I say. That is, the cooperative mind, that is, suppose there are 6 persons working in the same institution. Suppose it is a productive industry where one person is having suppose it is a garment unit. Suppose that person is having high imagination power and well designed for the garments. Suppose that particular person is not able to stitch it, that particular skill is not there, then she or he needs to communicate. See, the first skill, communication skill, should be there, so that she can share her ideas or his or her ideas to the person who is very much able to do the process of stitching. Thus, collaborating with another person's ability to perform well in a firm is a must for better outputs or better production. Therefore, teamwork or cooperation or collaborative thinking and leadership, along with that particular leadership that we can discuss later. So the second employability skill needed for the best production in a particular firm is teamwork skills. Okay. Then the third skill is communication skill is there, and we decided to work together in a team fashion. Then self-motivation. What is self-motivation? Each and every person working in a firm should consider that firm as his or her own, and anything achieved by him or her should be considered as the achievement of the firm. So self-motive, a drive within me, should be there, and it should be for the institution or for the firm. Therefore, any employer is, in the case of self-motivation, what we need to understand is there is no need of pulling or pushing by another person to do something. That is the simplest way of understanding self-motivation. I myself should do whatever be the productive thinking or productive work or performance, as we have discussed earlier, performance for the betterment of the production. That is self-motivation. In order to enhance the self-motivation, the employers can do many things. See, if your employers can do, sometimes they may give an incentive for achieving something. When an incentive is received by me, I may enhance my self-motivation to achieve more. Whenever I am achieving more, it will be benefit for the firm also. So self-motivation is a skill. Now, this self-motivation skill is also considered as universal employability skill, because irrespective of the nature of the firm, we need all the 3 skills that we have discussed. That is communication skill, employability skill, and self-motivation are the 3 universal employability skills, because irrespective of the nature of the firm, we need these skills. So, see, the 4th skill is problem solving. Along with that, we can discuss decision making, because whatever be the problem faced by a firm, if we are considering it, if we are connecting it with the second skill, that is teamwork skill, the problem faced by the firm should be considered as the team's problem, and the person who is leading the team should present the problem to the whole group, and the whole group should discuss or brainstorm or interact with each other in order to follow a particular logical and scientific way of proceeding to the solution, and for which each and every person working together in a particular team should have problem solving skill. Whenever there is a logical sequencing of problem solving steps, the problem solving skill is performed in a particular way, at the end of the thinking process, we can take a decision with respect to that particular issue. That is, decision making is always associated with the problem solving skill. Therefore, any employer is searching for an employee who is having a problem solving ability or decision making ability. See, next is critical thinking skills or reasoning skills. With respect to our cognitive domain, we do have a ability to think critically. What is critical thinking? When an information is entering into my brain, some processing about or processing of that information need to be carried out within the brain by using our higher order thinking abilities. Whenever we are using our higher order thinking ability to process an information entering into our brain, we can consider it as critical thinking. That critical thinking ability will be developed in the mind of an individual by solving many problems, that is previous experiences. And whenever we are confronting with a situation, we are making our brain hot in order to solve that problem. In order to solve that problem, we are following a particular ways or a scientific procedure. When we are using this scientific procedure for many times, we will become able to process the new information entering into our mind with respect to the experiences that we have gained in the previous sessions. And we are reflecting the thinking. That is, the meta thinking is also there while we are practicing critical thinking. A person who is having critical thinking should have a logical thinking ability to, or will have a logical thinking ability to solve problems in order to take a decision in a particular situation. So these three skills are very much blended together in the brain of an individual. This is required by all employers. So this is also considered as a universal employability skill. Then, as we have discussed earlier, commitment to work is the next skill. See, whenever my brain is working, there is an affective domain. This affective domain will have a capability to use things into my feelings. That is, my experiences are to be considered as my feelings, and that feelings can be for the benefit of the society or for the benefit of the firm in which we are working. Then we will work for that particular firm. Whenever we are doing something for somebody, we call it as commitment. If we are doing something for ourselves or for our happiness, it is not commitment. But if we are doing something for others, that is, if we are doing something committed or with the commitment, we will feel happy. That happiness is different from the happiness arises when we are doing something for ourselves. That is, whenever we are having a feeling of commitment to work, we will do with enthusiasm. We will undertake any task assigned by our superior officers, or we will do something along with our subordinate staff to achieve our goals. That is, the goal of the firm could be achieved very easily if, see the connection, if the teamwork is there, along with the commitment within each and every individual of the team, then these two employability skills, if work together or blend together, the output will be very will be the best output of the firm. So commitment, sometimes we may enter into a job without having a knowledge or practice, and in due course of time it may become occasion, because we will study something during the job work, and after that we are getting practice due to that experience. Then we are going to learn something and we are committing to the firm. Then we will become a professional in that particular. We have started it with job, changing into an occasion, and at the end we can become a professional. This cannot be this cannot be within a single day, but a long period of time should be there in order to convert a job into profession. Then, whenever we are going to do something, we should think about what will happen in the future, or what will I do in future. The thinking about what to be done in future is called the planning. That is, think about the future is planning, and that ability to plan can be trained. That is, we are making our student teachers writing lesson plans, where by writing lesson plans repeatedly, they are enhancing their ability to plan. Then after planning, we need to implement the plan that I have made. The process of implementation of planning, that is what we are think about our future, need to be carried out in the actual field, which we call as organizing. That is, managing the plan for implementation is known as organizing, and think about the future is known as planning. Planning and organization are also the universal employability skills, because any firm, any profession needs both planning and organization. See, what are the 7 universal employability skills that we have discussed? Communication skill, teamwork skills, self-motivation, that is ability to work with little or no supervision. Nobody should pull or push. Then problem solving or decision making skill, reasoning or creativity thinking or critical thinking skills, then hard working, then planning and organizing. These are some of the universal employability skills. Hope everybody could follow what I have explained till now. That is, there are so many thousands of employability skills are there. Many of them are known to me, many are unknown to me, but major skills are considered as universal employability skill, because irrespective of the nature of the firm, we are using these skills. These skills are to be practiced by our students during their course, from early stage to higher education stage, so that we can produce human potentials with high employability skills, and any employer can give employment to our graduate and postgraduate students. See, when come to the personality characteristics of an employee, the employer is expected to have some skills with that particular employee, that are dependability or reliability or responsibility. This is also considered as a universal employability skill. Dependability or reliability means, if a superior officer is asking a person to do something, some in some cases, the superior officer will not monitor that particular person because the superior officer is sure that this person will complete the task within the speculated time. That is, that confidence is there in that particular employee. Any firm is always expecting a person with that much accountability or consistency in performance or commitment to the performance and reliability to the system. So dependability is considered as one of the major universal employability skill. That is, the person will be responsible, the person will organize whatever be the thing need for that particular moment or situation and accountable for the system, and that person will follow what to be done after this particular task. A person having these qualities is dependable, and this a person with these qualities are highly accepted by an employer. Then C, adaptability. This is one of the major important, that is with respect to personality, one of the major important universal employability skill is adaptability, because whenever we are entering into a new situation, suppose we are transferring from one office to another office, and in the new office we may have so many confusions or ambiguities because the situation changed, the environment changed, and because the person need to interact with the new personalities and new environment. Suppose we are there in a college where we have used the Wi-Fi facility, and we were taking classes for our students in the using Google Classroom or Google Platform or Zoom, something like that. Then I am getting transferred to a new college. Suppose it is in a rural area, there is no Wi-Fi connection, or the Wi-Fi speed is not that much as I have enjoyed in the other college. In that situation, in such a situation, I need to adjust with the new situation. There I may be expected to record my classes and share my classes through WhatsApp or Google Classroom instead of having live interaction with the students. In such situation, the person should have the ability to adapt to the new situation, and this ability is always expected from an employee by an employer, because there are so many situations where the person need to interact with new personalities, new environment, new situations, and new persons with special abilities or special disabilities. In every context, I need to, or the employee need to adjust with. This ability is known as adaptability. But with respect to personality, the employer is expected reliability from the person and adaptability from the employee. Then flexibility. What is flexibility? Flexibility is the ability of a person to change with. Adaptation means with respect to new situation, I am adjusting and I am using that new situation as my own. Flexibility means I am changing myself in order to adjust with the new environment. That is, changing, adaptability and flexibility are interrelated. And the flexibility means one's ability to adapt to the new situation. Adaptation means I am making myself as one of the person within that situation. And flexibility means I am changing myself in order to adjust with the new situation. In order to have a mind with high flexibility, I should be open-minded. An employee should be open-minded and be optimistic in every context. That is, positive thinking and positive attitude should be. And wait for what is to be happened. That is, a calm expectation about the happenings should be there in the mind of a person. Then only that person can become flexible. See, with respect to personality characteristics, we can have reliability or consistency in expression, and adaptability and flexibility. Then see, morality, honesty, and integrity. What is morality? We need to follow certain rules which are expected by our society. Whoever be in my environment are expecting, or there are certain norms with which I can behave. If I am behaving, or the individual employee is behaving with a particular following a norm or with a particular expectation by the society or the group around me, I can say I do have moral behavior to the group. Then what is honesty? Honesty is whatever be the thing in my mind should be there in my expression and there in my action. See, many of us are not expressing or acting as we are thinking. What we are thinking in our mind is deadly against my action. Don't do that. Be honest in thinking as well as in action. Then the integrity of the person will enhance. If we have morality and honesty, our integrity will be very high. So we need to follow these qualities within our personality so that an employer can reliably believe in me and I can adapt to the new situation with flexibility. See, this is an important skill which is not related to the personality skills, but it is related to performance skills. That is with respect to psychomotor domain. What technical skills, or what are technical skills needed by an employee depending upon the nature of the firm? But in general, we can say the technical skill is the ability of a person to perform a task when knowing the theoretical aspect. After knowing the theoretical aspect, if the person is able to do or perform a task, that person is said to have technical skill. That is, see, in our school classes, we have studied about how a fused wire is working in our physics syllabus. But after learning it very well and getting A+ in that particular subject, if I am not able to perform that particular task, that is tying a fuse wire when my fuse is not working properly, then that skill is known as technical skill. This skill is expected out of persons who have received their graduation and post-graduation in science, technology, engineering, etc. But we know many of our graduate and postgraduate students are lacking these technical skills. So we should stress the acquisition of technical skills while giving them graduation or post-graduation. See, the first 4 skills are associated with personality, but the 5th one, that is technical skill, is associated with the performance by knowing something. After knowing something, if a person is able to use, perform, or do some task by using that knowledge, we said that person will have technical skills. Then next is interpersonal skills. As we know, now we are relying on multiple intelligence. Our brain is having an ability to interact with another brain or another person using certain thinking process in our mind. After thinking about another person, how to behave to, how to interact with that person, how to do something when that person is asking to make me to do something. We need to, or an employee need to perform a task by understanding what the other person is saying. That is with respect to the communication skill, and understanding that personality. That is interpersonal skill, the relationship between two persons. That is, I should understand myself. Self-awareness should be there. Self-control should be there. Self-management should be there. By integrating these three self-relying attributes, we can develop an interpersonal skill. That interpersonal skill, along with the communication, is a must for a better employment. Therefore, employers are expecting from an employee the interpersonal maximum highest level of interpersonal skill. See, the first we have discussed about 7 employability skills. Here we have discussed another 6 employability skills, and in which only one, that is technical skill alone, belongs to our psychomotor domain, or the interpersonal skill to some extent affective domain and to some extent cognition, and the other 4 are depending upon the or relying on the personality attributes. Okay, thus we have discussed about 7 plus 6, 13 employability skills. See, next is self-presentation skill. What is self-presentation skill? Self-presentation means I myself is presenting before you as a person. That is, my personality assessment is carried out by a person who is observing me due to my self-presentation skill. That is, when we are appearing for an interview, we need to dress well. The dressing itself is showing your presentation skill. Self-presentation skill is nothing but how you are, it is decided by another person, not by yourself. So you need to express yourself to others. Who are you? That way of presentation, that is how you are dressing, how you are greeting the interview board, and how you are receiving greeting and sending greeting to others, how you are positioning your body in front of an interviewer. All these things come under self-presentation skill. Almost all firms are expecting persons with a very good self-presentation skills, because they are expected to present this particular employee before a group for enhancing the suppose in a marketing field, they are expected to present this employee for marketing. Then the person who is expected to purchase their product should have an impression about the person who is talking about the product. In such situation, we need high self-presentation skill. See, when we are, suppose we are in the teaching field, when a teacher is there in front of the students with a very good self-presentation skill, the students will consider that particular teacher as their best teacher. Only because of self-presentation skills, many persons are getting attracted by students, or many teachers are. So we need to enhance our self-esteem, self-confidence, self-awareness, etc. are to be expressed while we are interacting with a group. That is self-presentation skill. And the 15th skill is multitasking skills. See, in this 21st century, we do possess tasking skills. Even a small child of 2 years old is possessing multitasking skills. And how many tasks we are doing is important. If we are doing 2 tasks, suppose I am listening to music while driving, it is multitasking. But while driving, I am concentrating on driving and listening to the music. The interaction between 2 tasks is very less in that situation. When I am cooking, I am using my phone for communication. There, when we are asking our brain to do more than 1 task at a time, a very intelligent person will do that task without any interference. Interference means one task is not mixing with other tasks. Suppose I am listening a class, and at the same time I am reading my WhatsApp and messaging in my WhatsApp. This is now we are seeing in our classroom. When we are in online classes, our students are multitasking. And multitasking is managing more than 1 task at once. But an intelligent person or a skillful person will do this multitask without having any mistake in any of the tasks. Such skills are required, especially by modern industries and technical firms, because they require employees with this multitasking skills because they need to manage many things at a time. So some of the firms are searching for person who are having very high multitasking skills. 2 tasks multitasking, 3 tasks multitasking. Suppose 4 persons are there for an interview, and the employer is asking all the 4 persons to do 4 tasks, and 2 persons are doing 2 tasks at a time. The 3rd person is doing 3 tasks at a time without mistake, and the 4th person is doing all the 4 tasks without any mistake. Then the firm will select the 4th person because the multitasking skill is highest with that particular person. So multitasking skill is also considered as an employability skill. Then, as we have discussed earlier, positive attitude or positive thinking is also expected out of employees by employers. That is in the affective domain. When we have discussed about commitment to work, we have discussed about positive attitude also. Therefore, along with commitment, if a person is having positive attitude, whatever be the thing, if a person is considering one thing, one situation as negative, if another person is considering it as a good, even though it is a negative situation, if the person is able to manipulate it as or taken it as a good for something, then we call that particular person is having positive attitude. Or positive attitude and positive thinking is expected out of employees by employers. So positive thinking is also considered as employability skill. Then we have discussed about self-confidence. Next is leadership and management skills. What is leadership? See, in many firms, one person is expected to manage more than one person. Whenever an interaction between 2 persons are there, as we know, there is individual difference. No 2 individuals are alike. So by using the first skill that we have discussed, the communication skill, this person should have the ability to manage or understand the feelings of the group members, and the person should have the ability to manage the thinking of the group members for the benefit of the firm. This is leadership. That is a person who is leading or managing a group of persons without harming their feelings. But that thinking, all the thoughts from the group members are received by the person who is called as a leader, and the leader is processing these thoughts into a positive output for the better performance of the firm. such an ability within an individual to manage the thoughts of a group of people by many means is called a leader. And that leadership skill is considered as one of the important employability skills. Then in the global scenario, we know there is no limit between countries now, because due to the explosion of this technology, even without having a indifference between the thoughts of two persons living in two different countries, we can interact with each other. That is, a country can interact with another country without any limits, and these two countries may following two different cultural scenarios. Then I should understand another person's culture as my own culture. That is cultural sensitivity. That is, sensitivity means, suppose when an ant is biting me, if I am sensitive, I can understand that ant is biting me. If I am not sensitive with that particular chemical, I may not be able to understand or sense the bite of the ant. Similarly, when we are interacting with another culture, we should sense the other person's culture as my own. That much intimacy should be there between these two persons, even though both of them are belonging to two different cultures. This ability of a person to interact with another person from different culture is called cultural sensitivity. This cultural sensitivity is usually expected from employees working in international firms, because they need to, for example, some of the electronic companies, even now international interactions are taking place even in medicinal field. Some doctors from outside India can control the surgery of a person in a hospital of India. In such situation, we need to sense the we should not sense the cultural difference, but we should consider the culture of the other person as ours. That is, multicultural sensitivity is required by many of the international firms during their during the appointment of their employees. Say awareness. In the first slide itself, we have discussed that without knowledge, we cannot practice. Any performance can be carried out by knowing something, and a training can be given to any human being with respect to knowledge and with respect to skill or performance. So awareness should be there in the employee about the firm and what to be done there and how to be done in that particular situation. So the universal employability skills that we have discussed here are self-presentation skills, that is about myself, multitasking skills, doing more than one task at a time, then having a positive thinking about the experiences that are receiving from the firm, and self-confidence, and leading others or others' thoughts for the benefit of the individual firm, and multicultural sensitivity, considering others' culture as my own. As we have listened in the case of empathy, we need to consider others' culture or understand others' culture as my own, and I should behave accordingly. Then awareness is another essential commodity for considering me as a best employee in a firm. Then I am skipping some of the employability skills, and in conclusion, we can discuss about, as we have discussed at the start, what is the purpose of education, The purpose of education is to change the brain of an individual through proper interaction with the environment in all the three domains. Then what we have discussed in the above slides about the employability skills is all the employability skills, if we are analyzing thoroughly, we can understand that the employability skills are belonging either to the cognitive domain or to the affective domain or to the psychomotor domain, and some of them are having a blended effect on with respect to these domains. So education, especially in the higher education sector, we need to discuss or we need to change our curriculum for giving proper employability skills to our students so that they can compete with any they can compete for any employment. That is, any employer should feel that this particular candidate is suitable for our firm. Our productivity or production can be enhanced if this particular employee is here, and this particular employee can interact with other persons in the firm for the benefit of the individual firm. And this type of feeling should be made in the mind of employer when our student is appearing before them for an interview in order to be selected in that particular firm. So our higher education curriculum need to be changed in such a way that there should be a possibility of developing employability skills. If possible, vocationalization can be started from the very beginning, that is from the early stage of education, primary school education to higher education, so that any individual who has acquired higher education should possess all the universal employability skills within them when they are achieving their degree course, or when they are completing their degree or PG course, they should possess all the employability skills. So we, the teachers, should give stress to the universities or the curriculum makers in order to change the curriculum accordingly, so that we can create or we can produce internationally challengeable employees or students for any employment. So we need to understand more employability skills and try to make our student acquire these employability skills for their employment. Okay, thank you. I have skipped so many slides because of the Joju sir.
Thank you, Bindu teacher. You have done exceptionally well. A huge collection of ideas.
Because of lack of time, I could not present the whole thing. Maybe.
Okay, we will find more time.
No, sir. It is enough for me.
Thank you, teacher, for that exceptional performance, teacher. Now it's time for additions. And are there any queries in the chat box? We can have 5-7 minutes of discussion.
So no questions as such. All have
Bindu teacher.
good comments, sir. Very
Hello,
good.
hello, sir.
Bindu teacher,
Nice
you have done a very good job. I appreciate you, and I have one small doubt.
Yes,
You
sir.
have, when discussed the universal employability skills, 2 points you have said very elaborately. One, adaptability and flexibility.
Yeah.
I think they are to be merged as one. There is no adaptability and flexibility are more. Is it the same, or you are conveniently got it no? I don't understand that. Only that point I have a doubt.
Okay. Yes. Shall I respond, Joju sir?
Please, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Sir, whenever we are thinking about a particular attribute in our brain, we cannot discriminate a particular attribute from another attribute. Even though we are seeing it as a personality attribute or cognitive attribute or affective attribute, we cannot take an affective attribute without having an influence of cognition, or without having a cognitive thinking. We cannot have an affective domain attribute. Similarly, in the case of adaptability, we need to fix into a, suppose there is a chair with a small size. Adaptability means I need to sit in that chair without altering my body size. Flexibility means I need to alter my body size in order to fit into that particular space. That is the difference between flexibility and adaptability. Adaptability means in the space which is available, I am fitting into. Flexibility means I am changing myself in order to fit into a new situation. That is the difference between. Whenever we are thinking about these two variables, we will be thinking it as a single variable, but there is a slight difference. Flexibility means I am changing myself. Adaptability means I am not changing myself, but I am sitting in that particular space as such.
Thank you, madam. It is very clear to me.
Very clear explanation, ma'am. Ma'am, I too enjoyed all the ideas shared by you, and I was thinking about multitasking. If the tasks are not interconnected, human mind can adapt easily. Cooking and meanwhile talking. These are so mental frames or activities are not mutually collaborating in those two activities. That's what I feel. But replying to a WhatsApp message and meanwhile listening to a class, there is a possibility of mixing both of these, and also we have to sacrifice one thing to concentrate on the other thing. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yeah, sir. Yeah. Whenever there is an interference between two cognitive processes, both the cognitive processes cannot be performed well. And while we are selecting some multitask, we need to be very careful in order to keep our honesty to the tasks. Such tasks can be done in a multitasking manner. In the other case, if both the tasks if required the same domain for performing the task, be careful. Something may lose somewhere.
Thank you, ma'am. When we are listening to music and meanwhile studying, actually we are not actually listening to music. We are focusing on study only. Just a subconscious soothing is received from the music. That's all.
In that case, while listening to the music, if you are not listening to the lyrics cognitively, your cognition is for learning. No,
okay.
That is, cognitive domain is working for the process of learning, and affective domain, feeling the soothness due to music, is there. Without listening to the meaning of the lyrics, that is, if we are listening to the music along with the meaning of the lyrics, some cognition should be there.
Yeah.
Then the learning process will not be proper. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello. Can I add something, sir?
Ask.
Please, Swamiji, please.
If both the processes are controlled by the same side of the brain, it won't make any problem. It will be easy for us to do. But if the two processes are controlled by the left and right brain crossing each other, then it will be difficult for us.
Yeah. That means if we are listening music using the right brain, and if we are logically thinking with the left brain,
it will be difficult.
It will be affected.
It will be affected. you can simply I think I could give an example for that.
Please. Hello, Swami. Hello.
Sir. Sir.
You are coming to the example.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
We can simply hear the music and and write.
That's possible.
We are always doing that, but we cannot write and read
together. Swamiji, my doubt is this: if both hemispheres of the brain are doing one activity each, it will be okay. Or if both the activities are from the same hemisphere of the brain, that will be fine.
We can do that without any problem.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
When the corpus callosum is involved, when there is crossing, it will be difficult for us to manage.
Okay.
We will be sacrificing one for the other.
One for the other. Thank you very much for that addition.
Definitely, I think I could give you the right example when we personally meet.
Okay, very good. Any more additions from anyone?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. Many thanks to, I'm Dr. Wasif. Many thanks to Dr. Bindu. Really, these employability skills are very excellent for the employer. But as we know, the new graduates, the students who are graduated from university, all their concentration is to pass the exams, get the certificate, and then to go to the employment field. Now, do you think, according to your experience, how many of these graduates will get a job after graduation according to these employability skills? Even if they have PhD degree, when they apply to university, they said we want at least 2 years experience. Many of the students are recently graduated. They do not have any experience at all. They do not have any idea about communication skills, comprehension skills, teamwork, self-motivation, decision making, and all the other skills. Then my question is, when will those newly graduated or recently graduated, when will they get a job? Thank you.
Wasap sir, you are pointing out that we need employability skills also with the traditional skills. Am I correct?
But when the students are at the university, when they are studying, they do not have any idea about the employment skills. Their main concentration is on getting the degree to get the certificates. So when they do not have time to do anything. Their main concentration is on getting the certificate. So after graduation, when will they get these employment skills and get a job? They need years.
So that any kind of bridging devices or some kind of a mechanism immediately after the particular graduation, there must be a kind of finishing school concept must be universally accepted and practiced. That's why that's idea that you may be highlighting, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Wasap sir, where are you from, sir? Hello, Wasap sir, where are you from?
I'm from Jordan.
Jordan.
I'm from Jordan.
Jordan, thank you very much, sir. We met you last in the last presentation also. You were there. Thank you very much for your participation. Thanks a lot.
Keep in touch, sir. The teacher, you can respond to the query, please.
So what you have asked is if the graduate students are having employability skills, will they receive a job after that? Is it the question?
Yes, yes, ma'am. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Depending upon the country, that is in Kerala.
They do not have any idea about employability skills.
Pardon, sir?
They do not have any idea about
employability skills. Their main concentration were on the how to pass the exams, how to get the certificates. Then after graduation, how can they get a job without having any idea about the employability skills? This is the question.
That we need to bring up within the students, no, sir?
Should be made part of the curriculum.
Yes.
No?
In the education system itself, we should find some slots where we can inculcate the employability skills. Add-on courses can be carried out, or integrate employability skill integrated curriculum can be made. See, when suppose I am a chemistry teacher, when I need to teach chemistry, I need to use some technological skill in order to teach and learn chemistry by students. Then at the end of the chemistry graduation, the student will get the technological skills which are required by a particular industry. Suppose the chemistry student after graduation is expected to join in a chemical industry, and the chemical industry needs some technological skills. Then by knowing what all technological skills are required by that particular firm, I need to modify my curriculum. That is, the curriculum should be flexible and it should be given proper freedom for the teachers or universities or institutions to integrate such employability skills to the curriculum. That is, collaboration with the institution is also suggested. If my institution, college's chemistry department is integrating some of the semester activity with that particular industry, our students will get that skill automatically. That freedom should be given to the teachers, universities, and institutions, even to the parents and students. Then I think it will be possible.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the clarification.
Thank you, Bindu ma'am, for that exceptional talk. You have enlightened all of us, and we are really indebted to you. Bendik sir, shall we move towards
yes,
the
yes, we can move to the next part, please.
Sir scholars, please.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, Bindu ma'am, thank you very much for your inspiring words. It was very informative. Let me now move on to the next part of our program. I invite Ronald Rose to deliver the vote of thanks.
Am I audible?
Yes, Ronald.
Okay, thank you. Very warm good evening to one and all gathered here. It is a time to record vote of thanks in which the program organized by the research wing of Martha Stein College, Nalanchira. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our beloved principal for providing constant support and encouragement for enhancing our academic excellence each and every day. Thank you, sir, for your presence here. Next, I would like to extend a hearty vote of thanks to our resource person, Dr. Bindu ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, University of Kerala, Trivandrum. The way in which she explained the subject employability skills was extraordinary. Thank you, ma'am, for a brilliant presentation. Next, I would like to express our sincere thanks to our research coordinator, Dr. Jojo Jones, sir. We are always grateful to you, sir, for your timely guidance, support, and motivation to make this event a great successful one. Thank you, sir, for being with us. I also extend thanks to all the professors, assistant professors, research guides, prospective teachers from all over the country. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to record my heartfelt thanks to my fellow researchers for their timely support and caring for making this program a successful one. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ronald.
There is one observation
Yes.
raised by one of the participants regarding the program. Kindly read it out and have a reflection on it before going to the concluding remarks, please. Regarding the organization, there is one observation made by one of the participants. There are many programs and initiatives carried out by the institutes to ensure here to inclusive leading or to understand these skills to persuading graduates. But what Dr. Wasaf said is mostly the other side, which can be neglected to view into. That's an observation made in accordance with the comments made by Dr. Wasaf sir. Okay, now you can move, please.
Thank you, Benedict sir.
Thank you, sir. Shall I go on, sir?
Please.
Jojo, sir?
Please.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your presence and participation for making this session a successful one. This program will come to an end after the national anthem is sung. Kindly stay with us. Thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you, Paulo sir.